Welcome back. This is our second to last topic for single rapier. And today we are doing pressure glides and yield parries. These are also super fun. Now, if we were doing these with a partner, not only do they look really cool, they also sound really cool because it's another move like a croisé that involves the blades sliding along each other, giving a nice shink sound to it, especially if you have nice steel weapons. Aluminum blades like ours just don't sound nearly as nice, but they still look really cool, and they are a nice, fun challenge. So let's start taking a look. Now, a pressure glide attack starts with a parry. So let's say I have just parried an attack to my upper outside line, in this case, my right arm. Now, the pressure glide attack goes to a low line attack if it's from a high line parry, or if it's from a low line parry, it goes to a high line attack. So we're switching from high to low, or from low to high. So here I am in a high parry, so I'm going to do a low attack. And all I'm going to do on the pressure glide is I'm simply going to attack with a fishing line cut to the low line target on the same side. That's all a pressure glide is. So I'm here, I've parried, and then I reach forward and I attack. And that's the pressure glide. Super, super simple. Now what makes it special is that my partner, the defender, is going to maintain contact with my weapon the entire time. So I'm not doing a croisé to expel their blade first and then attack so that there's no contact. Instead, I allow them to keep their weapon on mine, their foible against my fort, and so I am gliding down their weapon as they apply very light pressure just to maintain that connection, and hence the name pressure glide. So I am here in my parry position once again, and now I cut to low line attack with a fishing line cut. Now the yield parry is what my partner does while maintaining connection to my blade. So let's say they have just attacked my right arm. So they are here, left foot forward, they've just cut to my right arm. Now as my partner in this case, I'm now the defender, as the attacker cuts to my hip, I'm going to start by removing that hip. They're going to pass forward with me. And then I simply supinate my wrist and bring it down into a parry 7. So once again, we generally do not change the pronation and supination of the palm on the attacks, but we do change it on the defense. So I've cut here with my palm pronated. I pass back and simply supinate the blade and bring it into a parry 7 position right here. And there's a nice natural stopping point. If we were to do this with real weapons connecting to each other, it would sound shink, and then it would stop right there. It's a really fun moment to put in a pause into a fight. So everybody's fighting, it's very, very furious, and then all of a sudden, shink, and then we stop there and have just a beat of a moment, and then the fight continues. It's a really fun, electric moment. Now, we can do these pressure glide yield parries on both sides. So, I've just done a pressure glide here from a parry 3, and my partner has done a yield parry where they attack 3 and yield parry to 7. Now, we can also do it the other way. So here, I'm doing a parry 4, and I am now going to pressure glide to their right hip. And it's very simple. All I'm going to do is just a fishing line cut. There. They're going to make contact with my blade the entire time. So here they are. They have just cut to my left arm here. And the attacker has done a parry 4. And now I'm going to pass back, and now I'm going to pronate my wrist and bring it right into a parry 2. So I go from attacking their 4 to parrying 2. If I attacked their 3, I go into parry 7. So it's very, very simple. All I'm doing is I'm taking the blade from an attack position and moving it down into a defense position. And the attacker is simply doing a fishing line cut from the parry into the attack position. By themselves, the moves are very, very simple. What makes them special is when they are done together so that the contact is maintained the entire time. Now, we can also do these from low parries. So let's take a look at those. So here, let's say I've just parried 2. Now, in order for me to do a fishing line cut, this is where it gets a little tricky, because I'm not going to do a false edge cut. I mean, that would seem to make sense, but that's not going to really give me much strength. So instead, what I need to do is called biting the blade. I'm going to bite the blade by supinating my wrist down here, and I keep supinating it until the true edge of my blade is now pointed at them and is making contact with their blade. And now from here, now I can do that fishing line cut. So if you're doing these pressure glides from a low line, you have to first bite the blade by reversing the pronation before the attack so that the true edge of your blade is on their blade. Then you can do the fishing line cut. So once again, here it is from a parry 2. I bite the blade, supinating my wrist so that the true edge is now making contact with theirs, and then I can pass forward and I do a fishing line cut up to the high line. Now here it is from a parry 7. I've parried 7. First I'm going to bite the blade by rotating and pronating my wrist, and I keep going past full pronation until the true edge of the blade is making contact with their blade. Now I can pass forward and fishing line cut to their shoulder. And now, of course, the yield parries are very, very simple as well. So let's see. I've just cut to their right hip. They've parried 2. I am simply going to pass back and bring my weapon into a parry. Oh no, I'm sorry. I need to bring it up. I'm going to pass back and bring my blade up into a parry 4. So I go from they have parried 2 to I am parrying 4. And if I have cut and they have parried 7, I'm going to pass back and yield parry 3. All I'm doing is I'm just changing the pronation of my hand and going into the parry position. So here, here. And I go from a low to a high. Or I go from a high to a low. So those are the pressure glide and yield parries for the cuts. Now we can also do pressure glide yield parries with thrust attacks. And these are even easier. So let's just say that I have done a thrust attack here. Now this only works with a direct riposte. But if they do a direct riposte, all I do to do a pressure glide yield parry is I just maintain contact with their blade. They extend, we weight shift, and I parry. And then I can extend, we weight shift, and they parry. And then they extend, we weight shift, and I parry. And all we're doing is just sliding the blade along each other. This is a little bit different from a normal parry riposte, where there's a moment where the blades are removed from each other. And they sound different. And that's really the only difference. It's just the way that they sound to the audience. A regular parry riposte sounds a little bit like clink, 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 clink. Whereas a pressure glide parry riposte sounds like shing, shing, shing. So it's just a different sound, and the only difference is we're maintaining contact with the weapons instead of removing contact with the weapons. Okay, so here's what I would like you to do. I would like you to pick 2 lines of attack, and then you are going to show me both a pressure glide and a yield parry from that line of attack. So here's what I mean. Let's say I pick a left shoulder. Okay, high inside line. Well, you're going to start as an attacker doing a regular fishing line cut to that line. So if I'm attacking their left shoulder, I'm going to start left foot forward. That way their left shoulder is the most farthest front part of their body. It's the closest part of their body to me. I weight shift back, spot that target. I do a fishing line cut to that shoulder. Now they are going to do a pressure glide, and I will do a yield parry. I pass back, yield parry, and now I am going to do a pressure glide, and they're going to do a yield parry. I bite the blade, pass forward, fishing line cut as I pressure glide. So that was one line of attack. Now here's another one. Let's say I try the other shoulder. Once again, I'm going to start as the attacker with my right foot forward, weight shift back, spot that target. I do a fishing line cut to their right shoulder. They are going to do a pressure glide. I will yield parry 7. Pass back, yield parry 7. Now I bite the blade. They pass back, and I pressure glide back to their parry 3. Right there to their right shoulder. Okay, then I can do these from the low lines of attack as well. So let's say that one of the lines of attack I choose is their left hip. So I'm going to start with my left foot forward. I do a fishing line cut to their left hip. They pass back, they parry 7. Now they're going to do a pressure glide up to my right shoulder. I'm going to pass back and I will yield parry 3. And now I'm going to do a pressure glide. They pass back, they yield parry 7. And of course I can do this with the other hip as well. So let's say I'm going to cut their right hip. I weight shift back, spot the target, fishing line cut. Now they're going to do a pressure glide. I will yield parry 4. And now I'm going to pressure glide back to their 2. That's all it is. So you're going to pick 2 of those and do the fishing line cut, the yield parry, and then the pressure glide. And then do another one. So do 2 different lines of attack where you show me the fishing line cut, the yield parry, and then the pressure glide. So let me show those to you again from different angles. So let's start facing away from you so that I can be your mirror. I'm going to start by attacking their left shoulder. So I start left foot forward. Weight shift back, fishing line cut, pressure glide, yield parry, bite the blade, pressure glide, yield parry. Now let's go for the opposite shoulder, their right shoulder. Weight shift back, fishing line cut, yield parry, bite the blade, pressure glide. Now we're going to go for their left hip. I start left foot forward, weight shift back, fishing line cut, yield parry, pressure glide. And now I'm going to go for their other hip, their right hip. I start right foot forward, weight shift back, fishing line cut, pressure glide, yield parry, pressure glide, yield parry. Now let's take a look at it from the side. I'm going to do their left shoulder. So I start left foot forward. I'll come forward a little. Left foot forward, weight shift back, fishing line cut, yield parry, bite the blade, pressure glide. Now I'm going to do their other shoulder. Weight shift back, fishing line cut, yield parry, bite the blade, pressure glide. Now I'm going to do their hips. Left foot forward, weight shift back, and fishing line cut, yield parry, pressure glide. Now I'm going to do their other hip, weight shift back, fishing line cut, yield parry, pressure glide. And notice I'm taking passing steps on every single one of those movements there. Okay? So pick 2 and practice it and then record. Thank you very much.